Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. And then we have this major story coming out of New Mexico. I think it was Friday. The governor issued a health order. You're not going to believe this. An emergency health order. Now, background on this. It was prompted by a road rage shooting where an 11-year-old was killed in a road rage shooting. And the governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, no relation to me, I hope, issued an order that says, okay, that's enough. We've had enough of guns. I am issuing an order which is going to make it illegal for anybody to carry a gun in Albuquerque or in the county, even if you have a legal permit. So no open carry and no concealed carry for 30 days under this emergency health order. Clearly, she has no authority to do this. Don't know if it's intended to be a publicity stunt, but actually I think it kind of goes along with some of the things that she has done in the past. During COVID, she shut down gun stores and shooting ranges and then changed that when she was sued. There are at least 2, maybe 4 organizations that have already said we're going to sue immediately on the basis of this, because if you'll remember, the Supreme Court in the Bruin decision actually just solidifying the Heller decision, which said you cannot ban the carrying of guns. You got to have either concealed carry or open carry, but you cannot ban it completely because, that part in the Constitution that says keep and bear arms. The bear part is carrying a gun, right? Makes sense to me. Pretty simple, pretty clear. But what you find is that some politicians, like Governor Grisham in New Mexico, they don't like that. They just detest the whole idea that common people like you and me could have guns for self-defense. Now, it's okay for her to have an armed security guard everywhere she goes, with her all the time, outside her home during the night. She's protected by men and women with guns. But, that's because she's special. Her life means more than our lives mean, right? Well, at least according to her. Common people having guns to protect themselves? Heaven forbid. And then there's the delusional factor of you're going to issue an order that says you can't carry guns concealed or openly, and somehow this health order is going to make a difference. Like criminals are going to obey this? They're going to pay attention to this? I would almost think, is there a possibility they could go the other way? Is there a possibility that criminals would think, ooh, wow, you mean the good guys, the ones that obey the laws, the men and women who have permits, who've been checked out, who have background checks, who don't break the law, they're going to stop carrying guns. They're going to be unarmed. They're going to be unprotected. Guess what? That means it's a field day for the criminals. What kind of thinking gets you to the point where you say, I will issue an order where people can't carry guns for defense, and the criminals will obey that? It will make a difference to the criminals. I don't know. We're working. We're working on that. And this story just broke on Friday. We'll get more information. We're actually waiting for a call back from somebody from the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, supposed to be joining us here in just a few minutes. We'll get that going. And if anybody knows Zach, give him a holler. Tell him to check his phone, because we're trying to get him on the phone right now. It is a strange situation. A lot of stories going on. Hey, welcome back to Gun Talk. Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN. We're joined right now by Zach Fort. He is the former president, current treasurer, and legislative director for the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association. Zach, what the hell is going on in New Mexico?
That's what we're all wondering too. The situation is we have a governor and a legislature who they hate guns, they hate gun owners. Like, they have made it very clear they want to take away your right to own a firearm, and they will use police to put you in jail to do that. That's their line in the sand they've drawn, to put it very bluntly.
And you're not overstating it, because this is the position, and it's not just the governor. Now you got an attorney general who I guess was a district attorney who was funded by Soros, and we're not making this up. This is not conspiracy theory. I mean, literally put the money in to get this guy elected. So now your head law enforcement officer is a Soros-selected person, and your governor never misses an opportunity to go after and restrict gun owners. Forget guns. It's not about going after guns. It's about going after the gun owners.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, that's
so what is she
put in that office to do?
Okay, so what did she just do on Friday? Explain this to people.
So on Friday, she issued a public health order. You know, if you remember all the COVID orders that happened, those are also public health orders they used to restrict our rights. But this is a public health order on quote-unquote gun violence. So what that means is she's trying to say that gun violence is some type of epidemic that they need to suspend the Constitution to address. So the things that she said specifically is she is not allowing, in her words, this is not the Constitution, her words, you're not allowed to carry a firearm in Bernalillo County unless you are a law enforcement officer. That means no open carry, no concealed carry. You're supposed to have your gun locked in a safe inside a vehicle, with you in a vehicle, but no public carrying outside of any private property. That's what she's trying to say. She's also trying to do inspections of FFL dealers to make sure that they're securing guns in a certain fashion as well. So she's going after gun dealers. She's going after gun owners. She is basically, the Second Amendment is no longer exists in Bernalillo County, New Mexico, is effectively what she said, or attempting to say, through this public health order.
And of course, regulation of gun stores is a federal issue done by the ATF. The state really has no ability to do that. I mean, they can do regular inspections, I guess you could do on any business, but nothing that has to do with safe storage of guns or anything else. That's ATF issues there. But this is just a program of harassment. And I actually watched a news conference where she's saying that, well, you know, constitutional rights are not unlimited and they can be restricted. In this case, it's like, well, it's an emergency. I'm declaring it an emergency. And in an emergency, we can basically do away with constitutional rights.
You know, that's exactly what she's saying. But, you know, it's interesting that she all of a sudden declared this an emergency. For the last 4 years, we've heard nothing but the violence in Albuquerque doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Then all of a sudden one day it starts mattering to her, and then she declares some type of emergency. She has not cared one bit about people dying in Albuquerque through the violence we had. Her parole board that was appointed by her gives parole to anybody. You can kill three, 4 people, and they'll still put you out on parole. They do not care.
And of course, she has not given up. Let me guess. She has not given up her armed security.
No, police are still allowed to carry firearms. And, you know, I will say I've heard from a lot of police officers that they are flat out not going to enforce this because they don't want to get personally sued. See, in New Mexico, you can sue under our quote unquote Civil Rights Act. You can sue someone like a police officer who interferes with your civil rights. So a police officer who attempts to enforce this could be personally sued for up to $2 million.
That is one of the great ironies of the whole thing, because the governor and her very blue people around her eliminated qualified immunity for police because it's part of the whole defund the police are the bad guys. So they eliminated the qualified immunity, and now the police are saying, well, wait a minute, we have no immunity if we try to enforce this illegal law, so we're just not going to do it. We're just not going to do it.
Yeah. I've spoken to a lot of law enforcement officers. None of them are going to try to enforce this. They're all saying, nope, that's not my problem. I will say that, you know, the current district attorney in Bernalillo County, he is a Democrat as well. He actually came out and said that it's unconstitutional. You know, the attorney general, is just an ideologue. He's not a law enforcement official. He's an ideologue who's there to push this progressive, easy on crime, hate peaceful gun owners type narrative. But the current district attorney in Bernalillo County, he at least has a little bit of common sense. And he said, you know, we're not going to enforce this. This is stupid. So,
well, you know, that's just part of a larger picture. This is how bad this is. This is how bad the governor's order is. Even the gun banners, Ryan Bussey, the former Kimber executive who now is a big anti-gun movement person, and David Hogg, the kid who just graduated from Harvard, who's become the celebrity for the gun ban movement, both of them came out publicly and said the Governor Grisham's order is a bad idea and shouldn't be done. I'm thinking, how bad is it when your own gun ban people and supporters turn around and go, whoa, don't do that, Governor. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's very rare that we're ever going to agree with people like that on this topic, but I will warn people. It's funny to see people like that come out against it, but there's been quite a few people on the gun ban side who have come out in favor of this, like the Moms Demand Action types. Those people have actually come out in favor of this. So people need to be careful. Like, this is where it's going. It may be in New Mexico today. Maybe it's in Minnesota next or something like that. There are a lot of people who are looking at this hoping that it works, because if this works in Albuquerque, it will happen everywhere in this country very quickly. They're going to suspend the ability to carry firearms inside the home basically everywhere in this country very quickly.
You mentioned that this is very similar to the COVID restrictions, and it is. They use that basically as the stalking horse, as the proving ground for doing this. But it goes back further than that. You go all the way back to 30 years ago when the CDC said they're going to do research on guns, and then the Consumer Product Safety Commission said they're going to restrict handgun ammunition as a hazardous substance. And so they've been trying to turn guns into a health issue for at least 3 decades. And this is where we end up. They say, oh, this is a public health issue, has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. And if you oppose us, then you are opposing public health. And that's how they're trying to position this.
Yep, that's exactly what they're trying to do. It's another angle. They got away with too much on COVID. Now they're coming back. Now they're coming after it on this angle.
So what's the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association going to be doing about this?
So I have basically been working nonstop since I heard her say those words at the press conference to make sure lawsuits got filed. We've got 2 lawsuits filed already, National Association for Gun Rights and Gun Owners of America. We appreciate them stepping up big time on this. We're going to see some more lawsuits filed here in the next couple of days. We're probably going to be part of a lawsuit, but it's just getting people organized. I mean, I've been on the phone nonstop basically since Friday afternoon, getting stuff done, organizing people. Just because I think one thing I will say is this kind of caught us by surprise a little bit. We knew she might do some stuff, but I didn't expect her, even for as bad as she is, I don't think we expected her to try to use a public health order to basically nullify the Second Amendment. But I guess that's kind of on us for maybe not thinking creatively. And I think this goes to show that everywhere in the country needs to be on notice right now over what can happen very quickly and be prepared for this. We're going to, hopefully we're not just suing through these lawsuits to stop this from happening. We're suing to set precedent that this can't happen anywhere else. We're in the 10th Circuit. We'll see how high this goes. Hopefully we can just get this thing struck down really quickly and show everyone it's a really bad idea really quickly, get some good precedent. But we're going to be taking legal action. There's a lot of legal action, a lot of really solid attorneys getting involved on this from all across the country that I've been speaking to. So we're fighting back. Lawsuits have been filed. They will continue to be filed over the next week. We're doing everything we can to push back on this, and we appreciate everyone. I mean, we've had so much attention from all across the country. Even Elon Musk was tweeting about this. I never thought I would see Elon Musk talking about gun politics in Mexico. He was calling for the governor to be removed. He said, if any governor directly contradicts the Constitution in this blatant fashion, there needs to be a way to remove him from office. And I think we're going to see some articles of impeachment filed against the governor. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I think we need to send a message that we need to get good court precedent against it, and we need to see a serious movement to try to impeach this governor over what she did, because when you just do something that is so abhorrent to the Constitution, there needs to be consequences.
Yeah, I hear you. And the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, it's nmssa.org. You can get in there. You can make a donation. You can, even buy a ticket for the monthly giveaway. But just basically toss some money into the kitty there. You mentioned, Zach, something as you went by. I want to make sure we return to that. There's some provision in the New Mexico law where you can file suit and get up to $2 million. What is that?
So that's in New Mexico's Civil Rights Act, where you can sue a state official who deprives you of your civil rights in New Mexico and receive monetary damages. We're exploring an option. I don't know if we're going to be able to sue the governor over that, but any police officer who would attempt to enforce this could be sued.
Okay. And I know your phone's blowing up. I could hear people calling you right now trying to get in there. I'm going to direct people to the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, nmssa.org. Zach, please keep us posted on this. And if you hear, I know that there's supposedly a gun rights rally going on in Old Town right now. If you hear of anything going on there, you got our number. Call us back and let us know what's happening, okay?
Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you for the time. You
bet. You take care and good luck with that. Amazing stuff going on there. Incredible things. He makes a good point, though, Zach does. In every state, you should expect something like this coming out of left field, out of the blue. And do you have the mechanism to respond quickly? Do you have a good, active state organization? Are you a member of your state organization? Is it primed and ready to take action on things like this? This is not one of those where now you need to start introducing yourself to legislators. They need to know your name. They need to know when you call, who is calling me? What's that voice? What's that number? They need to expect a call from the gun rights organization in your state. Vitally important. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. Your reaction, looking for it right now. The governor issues an order. No concealed carry, no open carry. Doesn't matter if you have a permit, because I say it's a public health issue. That's their new trump card. We'll be right back.